Excuse me, but I'm following your drama. I'm just following the drama in Philly. Anyway, before we get going, welcome aboard. It's Football Friday, one of the absolutely great weekends. I think the divisional rounds are probably the best rounds in football when it comes to pro football. I do like the wild card. I'd say divisional wild card, conference championship, Super Bowl, it's hit or miss. But these are one of the two best weekends in pro football. So Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, the National Football League once again owns the entire 3-day weekend. And it should be a telling weekend to say the least. The best of the best. This is like the Top Gun of the NFL. The one percenters are playing football an extra weekend. These are the one percenters. So it's going to be interesting to see who's standing still when Tuesday comes. I got to say this. The noise going around the Philadelphia Eagles has now hit a fever pitch when it comes to the national guys. They're now talking about the Eagle job as a potential landing spot for coaches that are out there. And I do think the reason that you're seeing that fever pitch, I don't think it's because of the amount of job openings. I think it's the amount of qualified candidates that are out there. Boy, Mike Vrabel being fired because he went to a Patriot event, or one of the things that caused his exit in Tennessee, is preposterous. I mean, I don't want to work for an organization like that when you're so petty like that. That's a problem, man. That means you're not focused on the major things, winning championships. You're more focused on the bullshit in your locker room and your building, instead of putting things together in your building and with your roster to try to win a Lombardi trophy. You wonder why organizations get in their own way sometimes and never have gone anywhere. It's because of just that kind of shit. You see Vrabel with Bob Kraft. And by the way, it turns out that the Patriots had a plan in place anyway, and it had nothing to do with Mike Vrabel. So that dumb owner in Tennessee made a catastrophic mistake by letting Mike Vrabel go. Who are you going to hire in Tennessee to replace Mike Vrabel? Some nobody? Good luck to you, man. That's why you're Tennessee. You fire a guy because you thought he wanted out to get the Patriot job. Instead, they already had Mayo as a game plan in case Bill stepped down. It was already in the works, and it was already written in his contract. When Belichick steps down, you're the new head guy. You talk about people that get butthurt and read the room wrong. The owner of the Tennessee Titans read the room wrong. And you fired a quality guy that you had in the building. Holy cow, talk about absolute numbnuts in that organization. You deserve where you are. You deserve where you are. By the way, and Nick Sirianni's seat is hot. It's because you've got Harbaugh. It's because you have, hey, by the way, that's kicked up again about Tomlin. Tomlin may just walk away. He may want a fresh start. That's coming from his camp. Now, again, I don't believe that. Why would you leave the Steelers? They're going to do everything in their power to make you a winner. That's not their MO. They don't do that stuff. Pittsburgh finds a leader, and he stays there. It's almost like it's when you get hired by the Rooneys, it's almost like a Supreme Court appointee. You're there until you're dead or you don't want to be there anymore. Nobody leaves Pittsburgh for another job. You stay your entire career there. Why? Stability. Doing it right. 3 coaches since 1969. There's a reason that they do things the way they do in Pittsburgh. You know, I went back and listened to those press conferences yesterday. And I was listening to Nick Sirianni. And I was listening to Jalen Hurts. You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. I thought that was like a song. I don't know what you don't know, and you don't know what you know. You won't know what you know, and you don't know what you know. I have no idea what that means. When asked the question, he answered it with some sort of like Jay-Z rhyme. You don't know what you don't know. What you know, what you don't know, what you know. I was getting ready. I thought there was going to be a Jay-Z beat come after that. You don't know what you don't know, and you know what you know. You don't know what you know what I know, I know. Honestly, man, I thought we were going to get Snoop Dogg rapping. hey, listen, tones like this. Hey, Sills, don't you always say, feed them shit? Yes. I just thought it was, you don't know. I was like, okay. Okay. You don't know what you don't know, and you know what you know. I would have been in that room. I would have went, okay, maybe I'm too white. And maybe, I'm a rock guy. Can someone tell me what is that? Or is it Generation X thing? It's a Generation X thing. Is that what it is? I'm too old. I'm a too old guy. I don't listen to like Taylor Swift and all that. I don't know anything. I barely found out this year what a Swiftie was. So I may be a little bit get off my lawn, old guy. I don't know. You don't know what, he's right. But I'll tell you what he had a chance to do there. I'll get to A.J. Brown here now. So A.J. Brown, yeah. Seattle, we improvised. We just made it up. Jalen had a chance yesterday to kind of also go and cover his coach's ass, and he didn't. Yeah, that's what we did. You don't know what you know, what you know, what you know. What you know, what you don't know. Maybe what you know. And I went like this. I don't know if this guy likes Nick Sirianni. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make a statement here. I don't think Jalen Hurts likes Nick Sirianni as his head coach. I don't think Jalen Hurts has one thing personal against Nick Sirianni as a human being or his fabulous family with his great kids. I think he looks at that guy because there's two things. You can't separate both. You could be a good guy and a bad coach. They're not coinciding with one another. Like Brian Johnson's probably a really great friend of Jalen, but Jalen Hurts is probably like, hey, he's not a very good coordinator for me. After a while, hey, your boys you hung out with when you were a kid? Hey, man, I love you, bud. You're dragging me down, kid. I can't have you hanging around me because you do dumb shit and you get me in trouble. It's like Mahomes' brother. Guy's a toolbox. Get away from that guy. I know you love your brother and you can't pick your family, but, dude, that guy's not helping you. Patrick Mahomes' brother doesn't help him. The only problem with that is he can't pick his family. You know what I'm saying? He can't pick your family. Kind of stuck with it. Jalen Hurts doesn't like Nick Sirianni as his head football coach. I don't think he respects him. And I think that's the number one reason why the team has lost faith. It's because the head guy himself, Jalen Hurts, has stopped having faith in Nick Sirianni. That's how I read that. You know why I read it that way and how I read it that way? This is why I read it this way. Because it's a small thing. You don't mind falling on a pencil for someone when you have to fall on a sword, and that's not a sword. That was just like a toothpick. He could have fell on a toothpick. He didn't want to do it. Jalen Hurts didn't want to fall on a toothpick for Nick Sirianni to go, yeah, AJ's right. We made that up. You don't know what you know, what you know, what you don't know. You know, you what you know. I don't know. No, you don't know. Oh, yeah, something. Jalen Hurts wouldn't even fall on a straw right now for Nick Sirianni. Hey, Sir Roger goes, Stephen A. Smith thinks Howie's a great GM. He doesn't watch the games. Sir Roger, how many times has he gone on First Take and people questioned him? This year alone, there were about 10 instances where he was quoting and talking about people who were traded 2 years ago. Stephen A. Smith has no idea. His producer gives him something to say and hit points, and he goes on First Take with it. He's not there because he's intelligent. He's there because he delivers great content that's handed to him. He's an orator. He's not really a sports talk guy. That's why his radio shows have bombed and failed his entire career. Nobody airs the Stephen A. Smith show and lets it jam down your throat from corporate Disney. Nobody picks it up. That's why it's on Sirius. I had a guy tell me years ago at iHeart, well, I'm in the Stephen A. Smith business. I went, then you ain't in business. 2 years later, was canceled. The guy's not good on the radio when he's got to get ratings. He's really good at where he is now. Stick to it. It's like a guy who's on Cheers or on Seinfeld. And you go like this, hey, I want to leave Seinfeld. And you go join some sort of Amazon show and no one knows who you are. Ask Chris Wallace how he's doing now. Where is he now? Someplace, where's Chris Wallace now? He was killing it on Fox News. Where's he now? He's nowhere. I think I'll go on my own. How's those moves always work out? You're not Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld. Sorry, guy. That doesn't usually work well. Yeah, I'm going to leave Cheers and start my own show. Yeah, good luck. I'm going over here. Yeah, I never hear from you again. A.J. Brown now. Tone gave me a little bit of Tennessee history, some Tennessee Titan history. A.J. does this because he's laser focused. According to fans that are Titan fans, because of all the numerous playoff runs the Titans have been involved in with A.J. and his massive impact in the playoffs, he scrubs his social media. He deactivates his account. This is standard. It's kind of like when you're going, and you're getting ready to go to battle. Is that what this is? Scrubbing I scrub all my information that I was a Philadelphia Eagle off my Instagram. I deactivate my Twitter. And now I'm ready for the Bucks. That must be like a new wave, like the tone crowd and the youngsters and guys like that. I'm going to scrub everything. Push everything to the side. Hey, old man Sileo, you just go over there and you put your teeth back in and you sit over there and I'll show you how it's done. The youngsters and the X generation will take care of you. Oh, man, you don't know what you're talking about anymore. Oh, okay. I'm going to scrub my Instagram. Shut down my Twitter. Well, man, I'll tell you what. You talk about like a kindergarten class going on. Man, you got so much bullshit going around your team now. I don't even know how you're focused to win. I heard Glenn Mack now on with the guys before me. Oh, the Bucks aren't good. And you are? That is really crazy thinking that you think you're better than Tampa. You are Tampa. You're Tampa, and you got a quarterback that hates his coach. Well, Mayfield's hurt. Okay, that does help. At this point, I strongly believe AJ likes the coaches, the majority of the and the majority of the team doesn't. I don't think AJ likes the coaches. I don't think anybody in that locker room likes the coaches. I think the reason that everyone stopped believing is because Jalen Hurts stopped believing. Now that what was that? Hey, what was the game that Jalen Hurts said that he talked about commitment? What game was that? That they talked about commitment. Was that the Cowboy game or was that the Niner game? I think it was the Cowboy game, wasn't it? In Arlington, when he came out right after and he said, "Hey, we got to look each other in the face and we got to question commitment." Or was it the Seattle game that he did that? And remember, they made him walk it back later in the week. That's right there, man. Right there in that whole window. After Buffalo, something happened. Get this. The 49ers and the Cowboys now are becoming less significant. It's more about Arizona and New York and Seattle. That something happened in the locker room. I am under the belief that something has happened because you know what the most disappointing thing is? That leadership that they had so much last year has evaporated. You know, it's one thing for the Eagles to lose games, but it's another thing to watch a lack of leadership that you had in bundles last year. And it's just not on display anymore. I can't believe, get this, I get the defense sucks. Personnel issues, schemes, play calling, all of that is true. But you know what the biggest disappointment is? The lack of leadership from everyone, from the quarterback to everyone on the team, to the coaches, everyone. There is no leadership whatsoever in that locker room. And it's been on display for a month and a half. Actually, since Buffalo, whatever that coincides with. I think Buffalo was the last time we saw Eagle leadership. And after that, something happened. Something happened. People questioning play calling, the firing of Sean Desai, the lack of vote of confidence on something. Something happened between Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni that relationship went south and it's infected the entire locker room. Let me ask you this. Do you think that the relationship between Wentz and Doug Peterson, once that thing started to get fractured, do you think that also divided the locker room in Philadelphia back then when that relationship started to kind of have cracks in it and started to dwindle? Because to me, again, Jalen Hurts had a chance to go, hey, man, I got my coaches back always. We're good. Nowhere in the world did he even go there. He's not endorsing Nick Sirianni as his head football coach. He has not this year. Not once. AJ has come out going, it's not the coaches. I'm not mad at the coaches. Jalen Hurts has not once ever said that. He has not endorsed the coaches. How many times you hear Patrick Mahomes go, I got, Andy Reid is the best thing ever to happen to me. Andy Reid is the guy that has helped me get to where I need to keep getting to. He helps me develop myself every single day. Andy Reid. How about when you hear Lamar Jackson talking about John Harbaugh? Or Lamar Jackson, talking about John Harbaugh and how much the influence of John Harbaugh has been on the calming force for him this year and the way that he's played. I've never heard this year one time Jalen Hurts endorse Nick Sirianni as somebody that's important in the development of him being where he is today, because right now he's not happy where he is. How could Jalen Hurts be happy with Nick Sirianni? How could Jalen Hurts endorse Nick Sirianni when he doesn't feel he's playing good football right now? He's never going to endorse him. I think the front office knows that. There's now even word that the owner is more, how about this? And I'm not going to say, because when you start saying this, he's more involved in day-to-day operations. I'm going to say he's got more eyeballs on day-to-day operations. To me, that's not a reflection on the coach. That's a reflection on the duties of Howie Roseman. Okay? That's one thing I'm going to give this owner for. If this turns out to be true, because he's not, remember, he doesn't deal with peasants. Players and coaches are peasants. He deals with the serfs and the nobles. Those are the administration people like Howie. You don't think the owner of the Eagles is going to walk down and walk among the people and start talking to the peasants like the players. Owners don't talk to peasants / players. They don't do that unless they're the quarterback. And now that he's finding out that the quarterback and him they have a problem, I think you got a major problem. Nick Sirianni can be fired because Jalen Hurts doesn't think he's the guy for the team. Maybe I'm reading more into it. But it just seems something to now you're hearing everyone. Now you're hearing everyone, even in the local Philly media, starting to pick all this up. Jalen Hurts does not endorse Nick Sirianni as the head football coach. And if they get blown out Monday, he'll be fired Tuesday morning. That's a slam dunk. And I would definitely talk to Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel in that building with accountability and work ethic, holy shit, the Eagles would win 4 Super Bowls. You put Mike Vrabel. And by the way, who was the one guy that was 1,000% against A.J. Brown being traded? Who bitched the loudest? Who lost his job in Tennessee because of the A.J. Brown deal? It wasn't Mike Vrabel. It was the general manager. Vrabel wanted A.J. to stay. A.J. likes him. They're boys. So you put Mike Vrabel in the room and you bring in a quality coordinator. And you know what you do? I'll tell you what you do. You bring Frank Reich in as a coordinator. And then you know what you do? You bring in an RPO guy involved in the passing game, working with Frank. And Frank and them can work together on building an offense for Jalen Hurts and putting an offense together. Remember something. Shane Steichen did work for Frank. Frank likes to have assistants around him that know how to do 7-step and RPO. That's the brilliance of a coordinator. Okay, well, I'm not the greatest in coordinators. So you know what we'll do? We'll bring in the passing court. We'll bring in an RPO guy. I'm more of the passing coordinator. You're the RPO guy. We'll have 2 guys in the building, and we'll build an offense around them. You put that coaching staff in there, okay? And you let Mike Vrabel work on the defense. How do you think you'd do next year? I'll tell you what. How do you think you would do this year if you had Mike Vrabel in the building with Frank Reich going into the playoffs with this team? I think you could turn the postseason around. I think you turn the postseason around. Now, there'd have for Jeffrey Lurie to be with eyes on football operations. It's vague. So leave it there. You don't know what he's looking at. He's not dude, he's looking at Howie because Howie hired those guys. Why'd you hire him? My first question is not, hey, Nick's not the guy. My question to him would be, why did you recommend him? And not Nick. Why did you recommend Brian Johnson get that job? Nick proved he can work with a good coordinator last year. Got to put that into it. Hey, you can't erase 22 for Nick. And to some extent, you can't erase 11 wins. You know, you're talking like the Eagles are 4-11-1. That's not the case here. Howie Roseman would fight tooth and nail against him. Well, that would be his demise. Once again, remember something. Anytime you make a move in management, Khalid, anytime you make a move like that, you have to go in with a case for yourself to stay or for a case for the owner why they're making a move. This has been an abomination this year. Last year was a massive, somewhat success. You can't say it was a complete success because you didn't bring the gold nugget home. You know, you were almost there, you know, but again, you fell short. We're going to do something today. And I'm going to show you the kind of job that is going to be in place here for this coming off season here. We're going to play something here, replace, stay, address, and depth. We're going to do something like that here in a minute. God, we got a lot of topics. Let me do the easiest one here before we get into the more difficult ones. By the way, my friend Tone, 3:30. Teresa from our Princeton store, our Hooters general manager. Can't wait to talk to them, our Princeton, New Jersey store. Philly Godfather will be with us at 5:30. Who will enter this game on Monday feeling more pressure? You're saying Nick is gone if we lose Monday. Yes. Yes. There's too many good candidates out there. Sirianni or Hurts? Before you answer Sirianni, Jalen Hurts. One thing you may not like your coach. You better go out and play. I don't give a shit about your finger. I don't care. You have an entire offseason to work on. Stop. I don't care. This is pro football. I don't care about that shit. Stop it. Held him out of practice. Okay, good. Hold him out of practice until Monday. Give him the extra day. Go play, kid. You're making $50 million. You're not a starting pitcher for the Phillies where you can miss a start. You can't miss that start. Or guess what, Carson? I'll start looking at you like Seattle. You better play on Monday. That's on you, son. I'm not paying you to sit there and talk to me about some fucked up finger. I don't care. Go play. If you're walking and breathing and you're able to take a crap and eat, You're playing Monday. If you've got a heartbeat, you're playing Monday. What do you think this is? Dude, this is gladiators and warriors, and this is not for the faint of heart. And I held him out. You talk to children like that. I'm not talking that he's saying, I'm talking when the media goes, well, maybe he's hurt. Who cares? Why do you care? Play. If you don't have a broken arm, you're playing Monday. I'll give Brock Purdy credit. This guy had a severely damaged shoulder in that NFC title game, and that guy went back in and had more damage on the shoulder, but he finished the game for his team. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you win your locker room over. That's when your teammates go, yeah, bullets are real. That dude's in the hole with me, no matter who he is, no matter how much money he doesn't make. He's an MVP candidate, and there he is with me. Broken shoulder, playing like that. I'll line up with that guy any day. That's the kind of shit you go to battle with. That's the kind of guy you talk about. That's the leader of your franchise for the next decade. That's the guy I want being the face of my franchise. And by the way, I see some turd in here talking about me giving AJ some sort of pass. He's a receiver, like a DT, an OT, a linebacker, cornerback. I don't care about those guys. The quarterback is the guy on the team that moves the chains and is the face of the franchise and makes the bag. Them other guys are just dudes. The quarterback's the face of your team. He don't get passes. You make the most money, you're not treated the same, good and bad. Some of these people in here want you, me, or someone else to treat Jalen like what? Kenny Gainwell? I don't give a shit about Kenny Gainwell. He could miss the bus on Monday. There's a pecking order in the league. Hurts is I'll tell you something. I got to say this. Is Jalen Hurts being a leader now? Because I'll tell you something. Jalen Hurts and that football, it's his responsibility that the football team has lost its leadership. That's his fault. This is not Nick Sirianni was never the leader on that team. At any time a year ago, or even in the first year, he was too worried about being on park benches screaming at Kansas City and Arizona Cardinal fans or Indianapolis Colt fans. Jalen Hurts' leadership has failed this year. No excuse not to run Swift 25 times in the rain. Talk about the playoff games. Hey, don't go to sleep on Pittsburgh. They got Najee Harris, and you ain't going to be throwing the ball in that Buffalo weather. That game's a 1-point game now. Same thing in Kansas City. You think you're going to blow the Dolphins out? Miami's got a better running game than you. That game's going to be close too. All I'm going to do is hand the ball. I'm not throwing the ball in that weather. I'm going to run the hell out of the ball. I'm going to do what I did in Buffalo to the Cowboys. I may throw the ball 10 times. Why would I throw it more? so that the wing can take it? Turnover? Fumble? Why would I do that? What's the point? Oh, wait, that's right. You got to act like Eagle coaches. Explosive plays. Those are games you don't want explosive plays or try to attempt them. You're going to play. Those games are going to be over in 2 hours. So be prepared. The Pittsburgh, the Kansas City Miami game and the Buffalo and Pittsburgh game will be over in 2 hours. There'll be like 45 rushing attempts between both teams in both games. What's the point? 65 mile-an-hour winds, and you're going to throw the ball? Only the dumbass Eagles would do that. You got to play common sense, environment. Who's in the game? What's your strength? Oh, and here's the thing for the Eagles. Humidity is going to be pretty high down there on Monday. See what kind of condition you're in. We'll find out. That's going to be a different environment for you. Be about 85 humidity down there. See what kind of shape you're in. See if fat guy Jordan Davis can get out of a stance. I say this to you, man. Sirianni or Hurts on Monday. Who's got a bigger ton of bricks on their back? Sirianni, because he's a scapegoat like all your coaches are. But Jalen Hurts, I'll have a completely different opinion if he goes into that game on Monday and absolutely shits the bed. I'll say, kid, they paid you too soon. I had a franchise tagged your ass, and I wanted to see another year. I said it at the beginning of this year. You sure you didn't pay him too soon? 17 ball games, you gave him. It's really a 3-year deal. I get it. And what makes me okay still with it, because I talked with Tone about it yesterday, is how Howie structured the cap hits. That's what makes me cool with it. That, hey, look, and by the way, do I mind giving Jalen Hurts the money? No, because I think we can pull him out of this. I think we can pull him out of this because I like the kid. There's certain guys you regret paying. I'm not saying I regret paying him, but I'm saying you paid him too soon. But we can work through this because the kid is a good guy. He works hard and he wants to win. I'm going to work with that. And I've got a sample size on what I've seen with Lamar. Lamar turned it around, got it going. They put good people around him. Now, again, I'm under the assumption that Philly's going to act like Eric DeCosta in Baltimore. I don't know if they're able and capable. Okay? Eagle bashing. Dumbass Chris, you sucked for 2 months. Eagle bashing. Look at that ass bag. You have been awful for 2 months. This guy wants me to dress up a fat pig and tell you it looks good. What a dick. Are you crazy? Eagle bashing? Shouldn't be me bashing you, dude. It should be your coach kicking your ass. Show some balls, dude. Belichick Harbaugh available as head coach. Eagles will fire Sirianni. Dude, you ain't getting one of them guys. Stop it. Inferno, you ain't getting Belichick or Harbaugh. Howie Roseman would be working at the Philly Library if that happened. He'd be working at a Tom and Jerry's by Wednesday. I think Hurts can turn it back around next year. Do I think he could turn it around Monday? No. You're not winning Monday. Even if you win the game, you've lost. Think about what I just said. Hey, Sills, you think we win Monday? You've lost already. Because if you win, you're going to continue with what you have. Monday saves his job. You've lost again. Same shit next year, different bat channel. You don't get it. Wow. Fans don't see it. People in the media sometimes don't. You've already lost. But Sills, what if we win the game? You've already lost. Even if you win the game, it's lost. Because you've lost the trust in the locker room. You may beat the Bucks. That doesn't make you a championship football team. Man. You know, I heard our shows on our channel today. I think we could go in and win, and maybe this gets, maybe, Jesus, you know how many times I counted maybe over like a 5-hour time? 211. I heard the word maybe 211 times. Maybe. Ifs. Those words have nothing to do with certainty. Conviction. Maybe. If. I'm hoping. Yeah, those are words to go into game chanting in a locker room. Hoping. If. Maybe. Surely wouldn't want to go into battle. Hey, well, if we shoot those guys over there, we'll be able to save our platoon over here. Oh, I'm not looking for if. I want to know when we do this. Oh, I see. I want to lose and clean house sometimes. That's the best. No. If you win, you should clean house. You guys, Marshall, even if you win Monday, should that change anything? After being negative all week with the reality, I'm still a fan at the end of the day. So hope will always have a place in my house. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's the way you should absolutely be. Hope and all that is eternal because you're always looking for it down the line. I believe you make your success and not hope for it. I'm not saying Tone's wrong, and I'm not criticizing that because I have no problem with that. But I've never subscribed myself to that. It's like hoping for the lottery. Marshall, I got you. I don't pray for the lottery. It's a gimmick. Do you want your fortune? Go dig for it. You want to win? Go work for it. You want to be a champion? Go earn it. I'm not hoping for anything. Hey, do I hope my daughter does this? Do I hope my daughter does that? Of course. Of course. Because I can't control it because it's not me. But when you're an athlete, the only thing you can control what's in front of you. I can't control my teammate next to me. I can't control him. That's what's happened to your Eagle guys. They've lost sight of that. Take care of the shit that's in your front window. Take care of what you can take care of. Don't worry about anyone else and what they're saying. Take care of your shit in front of you. Is that the guy from Washington to get the Bama job? Just do your job, like Nick says, or Bill. So here, I'm going to take something that Darius Slay said and ask you. You think it's best that this Eagle team is playing this game on the road instead of playing it at Lincoln Financial? At first, it's a dick comment, you would think. Then I thought about it. The Eagle fan base is in a lather right now. The media are as well. And any sign of failure, you're going to hear the boos in the stands at Lincoln. You get a 3-and-out or an interception in a playoff game against the Bucs at Lincoln Financial, it'd be like you're playing a road game. You'd be harder and more critical than I've ever been with your team. And like Tone says, it's my team and I love it, but we all know this. If you had 3-and-outs to open that football game at Lincoln Financial, you'd be booing them harder than anything you've ever seen in your life. Tell me I'm wrong. You would treat them worse than the team you were playing. Am I wrong? So, think about that. Tone's like, you're 100% correct. That football team would not have one bit of latitude to make a mistake or a pick six or a turnover. And by the way, even if they won the game 20-19, they'd still boo you off the field because that's what you do. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but you'd be booing them off the field for the way they've played all year. Not because the way they played in the Buck game. You got to understand something. The fan base doesn't see 11 wins anymore. The fan base sees 3-5 since the bye. The fan base looks at you right now and says, this is not a team that is a championship team. And they're going to be harder on you than anything that could ever walk into that building at Lincoln Financial. So Darius Slay's not wrong. They're going to get more latitude down at Raymond James. I actually think it's best they start on the road. I think it's the best thing that could have happened to them. And I would use it that way. Okay? I see Lori poking around and no sign of Howie last time. I seen this. Chip Kelly was the hire, and you know the story. Sills honestly believe Belichick or Harbaugh is in play, just an opinion. Okay. Again, if you bring Jim Harbaugh or if you bring a guy like Belichick in, Belichick, can you imagine what Bill Belichick would do? Let's play a game here for a second before I get onto the other topics. If Bill Belichick took over the Philadelphia Eagles, how fast do you think he'd turn that defense around? Probably in a week. Only way they don't get booed off the field in a one-point game is a late fourth quarter drive to win it. You're not playing Buffalo here. Can you imagine Bill Belichick being brought in, Frank Reich on the other side as the coordinator, and Belichick and Frank working together? Bill Belichick, you brought in the greatest defensive coordinator / head football coach in the history. The guy who was the one person that was kind of your rival all these years. It's hard to believe that 2 Super Bowls, 13 years apart, same guy, same quarterback, same system, same way of doing things. If you were fortunate enough to land that guy in your building, the amount of success that you would have in build Jason Kelsey would come back. Don't let the media people like shitbag Bayless tell you that it was all Brady. He's lying. He has no idea what he's talking about when you're building a team. There's 57 men, 53 on a roster, and you have another, counting next year, 21 players on a player development team. Okay? You basically now have all of that to work with resources. And you bring that guy in. That guy brought in and drafted and got and put great players in position to win. Who do you think got the Stephon Gilmores, who was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year? Who are the Darrelle Revises? The Richard Seymours, the Vince Wilforks, the Teddy Bruschies. Who did all that, putting him in Vrabels, all the McGinnises? Who did all that? Brady? Amendola said it best, Sills. He said the team worked with Bill and played for Brady. Huh. Matthew brings up a great point. Amendola said it best. Bill built it and the team played for Brady. How come the team's not playing for Jalen now? Because you got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy. Even if you win Monday, decisions have to be made. Who's the wrong guy? Nick? Nick's at fault here. By the way, for Jalen Hurts not to want to play for Nick or endorse him or defend him, something happened. Something happened. I don't know. Maybe someone suggested something in the play. Maybe Jalen started stepping in and saying things about, some of the way the team and the offense was going. All of a sudden, these last couple of weeks, I heard Nick say, Jalen Hurts has total say on what he wants to do at the line of scrimmage. Oh. Well, then why are you asking him to make explosive plays? His explosive plays are in the RPO game, not in the passing game. Jalen Hurts creates big plays in the passing game with his explosive RPO game. That's how those wide receivers are so wide open more. This year, they're not. And you're asking them to make tougher throws. So I'm not following what they tell you when I watch the game. It really is this. I would say this. Some of the shit that they say at the press conference just doesn't add up to what's going on in the games. It's just when they say something, well, Jalen Hurts is total say at the line of scrimmage. Boy, it surely doesn't look that way. Do you think Jalen Hurts looks like he's got total say at the line of scrimmage when you're missing wide open guys and you're telling or looking like at least that he's making harder throws? Goddard's been a non-factor. It's just every time you hear them talk, you're like, and how about this one? Sirianni, was he not defending Brian Johnson's numbers? I don't give a shit about the numbers. Jalen Hurts has better numbers. Yeah, watch this. Jalen Hurts has better numbers this year, and Jalen Hurts is less effective than he was a year ago, and he had lesser numbers. What's that tell you? He threw for less passing yards last year and was better. Less is more? Or is this again? See, when you say that, you sound like an incompetent coordinator who just wants to put points and score on the board and not try to win games. You've lost 5 of 6, guy. That's who you are now. You're not an 11-win team. You're the team that has lost 5 of 6. You're a 1-6 football team. Seals, do you think Jalen, seeing other players not as motivated as him in the locker room, is killing the drive and the will? I think the players seeing that Jalen Hurts doesn't subscribe to Nick Sirianni as the head coach has deflated the room. And everything that they thought, the quarterback is the Pied Piper. It's the only excuse why you don't play with heart and you quit before the game even. Like, would this be a fair statement? Would this be a fair statement? They quit before the Giant game started. Hey, Twiz, and Hurts would never throw for 4K. See, there's I awake right there goes, we're not 1-6. Yes, you are. That's more symbolic in who you are right now than what you were at the beginning of the season. But see, a guy like him doesn't see that. The only people that see that are me and the football team. You don't see that because you don't want to see that. Remember, like I told you too, Wake, you watch football games with your heart, not your eyes and your brain, which most fans do. You don't watch it with your brains and your eyes. You watch it with your heart. I get it. Hard to rip that. Hard to rip that. It really is. And I don't like to rip that. Because the one thing you have to have and one thing you do and one thing you love, you always want to make sure you never shit on somebody's passion for what they love, especially when it comes to a civic pride team like the Eagles. And I'm not saying that. Look at Chris. Records don't matter. Yeah, you're right. 1-6 doesn't matter. How about this one, Chris? How are you playing? Chris goes, records don't matter. Okay, I'll take the record away. Getting killed by the Arizona Cardinals where they don't have to punt and having the Giants beat the shit out of you makes you look incompetent and pathetic. How's that for you? Put that on a sandwich. Got it, Greasy. Nick is 34-17. Yeah, and Mike McCarthy's 35-16. Super Bowl champion coach. He loses on, what is it, Sunday? He'll be fired. Yeah, you're right. Keep your coach. When you got guys like Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, and Bill Belichick floating around out there. Yeah, that's right. That's probably a smart move. Keep your bumbling, imbecile coach. I told you this too. Every time he gets in front of a mic, it's just clumsy. It's just clumsy. He's been clumsy since day one. Just been clumsy. And dude, I don't mind because Dan Campbell had a shitty press conference too. He had a shitty press conference. At least he won. Yeah, you know what? You know what Dan Campbell did? Dan Campbell validated that he's an actual coach. You know what Nick Sirianni did? he completely validated that this guy's a puppet for the upstairs guys. How he's got a little thing that goes up behind his neck and he talks and they sit there and they, like a ventriloquist. A.J. Brown doing that scrubbing of his stuff. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just do not get it. I just do not get it. You don't need that kind of shit right now, son. You got a game to play Monday. Stop playing with your childish football games and playing with your G.I. Joe dolls and scrubbing your media. It's so dumb. Well, this is what he does because, okay, yeah, all right. Get rid of the cheerleader puppet and bring in some quality coach. I got you. Mob Deep, I got you. Hey, look at Warren. Why must it be negative? That's all you deserve. Why must it be negative? Because all you do is get people cheerleading when you have to hear them talking about shit football. Holy cow. Soft. Negative? How about truthful? This is what I would say if I was the head football coach of that team on a Saturday night. No, Monday night or Sunday. You better get your shit together. We've played like dick. Every one of us is coached shitty, played shitty. This is us against the world now. Everyone thinks we're not winning. Fuck them. Let's go win. I don't give a shit about anybody, what they say. I only care about the guys in the locker room here. It's us against them. That includes people upstairs. I don't care anymore. We're all here and we're all on the firing squad line, every one of us. But that's pro football. We all know this when we accept this. When you accept being a pro athlete, this is what you do. The eye in the sky is evaluating you every day. It's not a country club. Some of you think these jobs are handed to you. There's 53 seats. It's not a given that that seat is yours. You better relish the fact you have one. Because come Tuesday, some of you won't have a chair. That's how you talk to a team that's lost 5 or 6 ball games. Not, hey, we got to pick ourselves up off the floor and we got to go forward. And I heard that shit when I was a junior high school for some junior high school coach. Come on, guys, let's give it the old try here. Hey, if you don't win, don't worry about the scoreboard. Just go out and give your best effort. That's not how that works in that game. Not when you get direct deposits every Tuesday and excess of $10 million a pop. That's not how that works. Think it's about kissing cheerleaders and cashing paychecks. You can't be more wrong about the stupid-ass, weak-ass mentality that some of you have. Why does it have to be negative? Because you should have a sense of urgency and fear every day you play in the NFL that your job can be taken from you at any moment. Not that it's been gifted to you. Man, you guys don't understand. You go to work in the NFL every day in fear that you have someone knock on the door and ask for your playbook. Nobody's guaranteed a chair. Hey, it's okay. That chair's yours. No, it ain't. The great organizations, man, keep their players with a sense of urgency at all times. No matter how much winning you do. If winning saves the coaches, Eagles play 2, lose. If they win, save the coaches. You think a Tampa game saves it? Okay. I guess. I guess. I guess. All right. Hey, appreciate it. Thank you very much. It's the final day that you guys are going to be able to do this here. Tone's going to send out a code word throughout the show. All you guys do is find that code word, send it on an email to dansilioshow@gmail.com. You can win yourself some opportunity for merchandise and gift certificates from our great friends at Hooters. We'll announce it on a football Monday, kind of like a pregame show on Monday because the Birds play, obviously, the Buccaneers down at Raymond James on Monday. Don't forget to start the new year off with the calendars 2024. 9 of the girls in the Northeast section and the Northeast region here with NortheastTutors.com are featured in it. And also there's $100 in coupons. You can also go to HootersToGo.com at any one of the locations, order the great food. I'm telling you, still to this day, one of the greatest menus of all time. And it is going to be packed this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and on a football Monday. How about this? In-game, $2 off each pitcher. I think $1 goes to like local charities too as well for every pitcher that's sold. That's NortheastTutors.com. Don't forget also on Mondays, it's Military Monday, 20% off all day long, all you can eat. Kids eat for free. Again, on Saturdays, that's NortheastTutors.com, NortheastTutors.com. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
The perfect